Amy?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We'll open the floor for questions for Coach.
I guess to start, for people that aren't familiar with the procedure you're having on Friday, can you just give a kind of a rundown of what to expect, and do you anticipate missing time away from the team?
Yeah. So as far as my pacemaker replacement surgery that I'll have on Friday, I anticipate, a very routine surgery. I've had one of these done before, so just a little background. I had open heart surgery in 2005. That's what ended my NBA playing career. And during the procedure to correct an aortic root aneurysm, they nicked my conduction system, which is invisible when you go through that procedure. So I developed a 100% heart block, and they implanted a pacemaker in me after that first surgery, and I was in the hospital for about a week as they got everything set. And that lasted about 10 years. So I got it in 2005. The second one, actually 9 years. I got it in 2014. I was at Iowa State, and I was at a recruiting event, and my pacemaker went into reserve battery mode. Technology is much different now. Back then, you put these little handcuffs on, you interrogated it in the phone holder. This is when phones had a cord in them. And went up to the Mayo Clinic. They said, you need to get up here like immediately. You're on reserve battery mode. So I was up there the next morning, got it replaced. Technology is better now. I have a monitor right next to my bed. The last time the pacemaker was interrogated, they saw that it was on low battery mode. And we got about a month of battery life left, so we felt that this weekend would be the best time to do it. As far as missing time, I don't anticipate missing any time. I will have the procedure done Friday. I'm going to go to practice on Friday morning. I'll be grumpy because I have to fast. I can't eat. And I'll get through the procedure, hopefully recover over the weekend, and barring any complications, I should be back on the court on Monday.
Can you at least have coffee or water? Is it
I can have clear liquids, yes. I can have coffee. You'll have to take that up with my doctor, Amy. I don't know. They told me I could drink. They told me I could drink black coffee only, just black coffee. So
This was the start of practice. This was kind of the first time your full group has been together. I know you had some late additions and guys sitting out. I guess what's that picture look like from the few practices you've had, and what are your feelings on the team right now?
Well, we've had the full team together pretty much since we've been back in the fall. So they say first practice, which was yesterday, but we've had really 13 weeks together. The first actual practice is this year was on June 9th. And then we had the 4 weeks of the first summer session, 4 weeks of the second summer session where we got 4 hours a week with them. And then we just finished our 5 weeks in the fall. So it's not like the old days where you came in on October 15th and that was your first official practice. And then you had about 3 weeks, and then you had to get the whole system in, and then you're playing games. Now we get so much access and so much time. So it looks pretty much the same. We're not going to go out and fry them and have 3 or 4 hour practices, and then in December we're mentally, physically we're drained. So we have a purpose to everything that we're doing right now. We're very fortunate with the sports science department. I know I've talked a lot about this in the past, but we have a very specific formula as far as how we map out our practices. Today was the hardest practice that we've had so far with this group. The one guy that is out right now is Sam. So Sam sprained his ankle last week, pretty severe sprain. He's making progress. The swelling is starting to go down, and hopefully we'll get him back on the court in a couple weeks. But and the good thing about Sam is he knows what he's doing out there. It's not like Sam needs every rep. He plays the right way, and hopefully we'll have him back before we open up with games. But, for the most part, it's been a group that has been healthy. They've been very diligent in their work habits. We've had no resistance at all with this group, and it's really been a fun group of guys to be around, and very hardworking, very competitive. We're still making a lot of mistakes right now. We need to clean some things up. But when you have a team that comes out and competes every time they step on the court, you have a chance. And that's definitely the group that we have. Very similar makeup, I would say, to the last 2 teams that we've had.
high ankle sprain or?
No, thankfully it's a low ankle sprain. Yep.
Where would you like to see this group collectively progress between now and the beginning of the season?
Yeah, well, we need to take better care of the ball. That's always a thing early on, and you could probably ask 300 teams right now what they need to improve on, and they would tell you taking care of the basketball and valuing possessions. We can't turn it over, give a team easy baskets coming back, coming back the other way. We can't give up offensive rebounds, and we've got a team that I think has a chance to be a good offensive rebounding team. So we're giving our guys a good look on being diligent with your blockouts. And then transition. We have a team that I think can play with pace, but we have to figure out when it's not there, when to slow things down, and when to execute. And that is leading to some of the turnovers as well. 2 weeks ago, I thought we had it figured out. We had a week where I think we had a 3.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio, and that number's come down. So we got to get back to doing a better job of valuing the ball.
I wanted to ask you about Nick Janowski. Seems like he's a pretty good shooter. I mean, do you anticipate him being part of the offense this year?
Yeah, I've been really happy with both of our freshmen, and Nick has done a really good job of coming in here. He's more comfortable, you can tell. This summer, he had some struggles, as all freshmen that start their college playing career, from the number one player in the country all the way to whatever. But Nick had some struggles early on, putting the ball in the basket. And that was the one thing I did not think that we'd have issues with, because he's the 7th all-time leading scorer in Wisconsin State history. Nick has an unbelievable future in this game. He's been playing the point guard position behind Raleigh, behind Aaron, but he can also play off the ball. And he's been really, really good since he's been back. So as far as will he compete for time, absolutely. And that's what I told those guys with Nick and with Braden Frager. Their mindset needs to be to come in here and they're going to be on the court. Frager has been awesome. He's making shots. He's got a nice high release. He's 6'6", 225. He's already got a body that can compete in the Big Ten, and he's 17 years old. He should be a senior in high school right now. So both of our freshmen have really, really bright futures. We've got a deep team. It's going to be the number one biggest issue for us as a staff on who is going to deserve those minutes, who's going to be in the rotation, who finishes games for us, because we've got a lot of talented players on this roster, including those 2 freshmen.
Frager's body's changed significantly. You said he's gained a lot of weight. I mean, he looks a lot bigger and stronger in such a short period of time.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And when he had his wrist, so he had a wrist procedure this offseason, and he was really diligent with Kurt Joseph, our strength coach, and getting in the weight room and doing everything that he could without being able to do much on the court because of how delicate that wrist procedure was. And he put on a lot of size. And he's a worker. He's a great worker. He gets in here into the gym every day in the afternoon. And he's, again, his body's always been explosive, but now he's adding the strength and he's filling out, and he's got a body that will continue to improve. Again, what we forget sometimes is that he's 17 years old. So, there'll be some times where he makes mistakes or comes off and makes maybe the wrong read. But again, he should be in high school still. So, really, really excited about both of our freshmen.
How has Berkey fit in since he arrived?
Yeah, Berkey has been. He's as talented as anybody that we have on our roster. He can pass, shoot, and dribble, and he can initiate offense. He can rebound the ball at 6'10" and bring the ball down the floor. He's got length, and he really is a tremendous passer and a guy that can knock down shots. So his feel fits within our system. It's a read and react type offense, and he's got good length, and he's starting to really get good deflections on the defensive end as well. We haven't experimented with him at the 5 yet, but there's going to be times where we can have a really, really skilled lineup on the court with him at 6'10". When I look at our roster, Raleigh 6'5", Bryce 6'7", Jawan 6'7", Berkey 6'10", and then Braxton 7'1", with Andrew Morgan, with Gavin Griffiths with their size, with Sam's toughness, with Connor Recesion's shot-making ability. We're going to have a lot of different lineups that we're going to be able to throw out on the floor, and it's a very versatile group of players. So, I'm excited about it. Aaron Eulis had an unbelievable day today, and maybe had his best week. A lot of competition right now, and it's what you want. It's what you want at this stage of the game, and we'll figure out the rotation as we continue to go on. And we've got 28 practices left, and then we're on the floor. So a lot of work to do, but very pleased with where we are right now.
How much of a luxury do you think it is to have Bryce have the experience of being the lead guard last year? Now he doesn't necessarily have to be, because you have two.
Well, and I really like Bryce in that role. So there's going to be times this year where we do put the ball in Bryce's hands, especially when he rebounds. And we've got multiple guys that can get the ball off the glass and initiate the offense, and we just need to fill all the spots on the floor. But there may be a stretch where we put the ball in Bryce's hands and have Aaron or Raleigh getting out and running, or having Bryce on the floor with another mix of players where he can handle it, because I really liked what that looked like, especially at the end of the year. And he did a great job of getting to the free throw line. And we're going to have to do a good job of that, manufacturing those type of points. Obviously we played through Rink a lot last year, and Rink led our team in assists, so we missed that element out there in the floor right now. But having the pure point guards with Aaron, with Raleigh, having Bryce, who spent a lot of time with the ball in his hands, having Sam that can make plays, you have a lot of guys on this team, with a multi-handler system that can initiate our offense.
Ryan was one of the loudest people at practice today, even though he can't participate. Just how have you seen him embrace the new role that he's not playing this year, but still trying to be a leader?
Yeah, and we've talked to Rink about that. Even though he won't be on the floor competing, and he feels great. That's the hard thing I think for Rink, is how good he feels right now. He's got a doctor's appointment in Chicago, actually on the day of our opener on November 4th, where hopefully he'll get clearance from the doctor, Brian Cole, that did his procedure, to hopefully start ramping up his activity and doing some things on the court. But he's in the pool every day, he's on the bike, and he's doing a great job over on the sideline. It's great having he and Josiah, showing Braxton, showing Andrew Morgan some of the things that we want out of that position, playing at the elbow and out of the pinch post. And yeah, it's a great luxury to have a leader like Rink and to have Josiah come back. He's still the hype man over there on the side, but yeah, it's awesome to have those guys part of the program.
What did experiencing some success last season do for the returners from a mental standpoint, confidence perspective?
Well, the thing that we really want is to give them a hunger that they want to get back there, and they want to improve, and we want to improve on what we did a year ago. Not only get there, but win in March, and that's the challenge. That's the next step. That's the next progression, is to get this program where it's never been before by getting there and consistently being there, and now winning those games in March. And having a group, we didn't have anybody really. I think Juwan was the one guy in the active roster that had played in the tournament, and then Aaron being the other one that had played in the tournament. Nobody else on our roster had experienced that. And it is such a different vibe. You can talk to them about it till you're blue in the face, but once you experience that, that's very valuable for your guys. And having a group now that the majority in our rotation have been in that tournament, they want to get back there. And they want to have that, again, take this program where it's never been. And I think this group has that opportunity if we stay together, if we sacrifice, and play unselfish basketball.
You see a determination in Connor, after maybe last year didn't go exactly how you wanted it to, and where his head's at right now.
Yeah, Connor's been great. Obviously, we have a lot of shooting that we need to replace with Casey, with CJ, with some of the other guys that aren't with us anymore, and that's what he does. He shoots the ball. He can put it in the basket. It's an offense that has a lot of freedom, and he's really enjoyed it. And I think he is still learning some of the things, some of the nuances within the system. But when he gets it going, and when that thing leaves his hands, you think it's going in. And he's been a guy his whole life that can put the ball in the basket. He's shown a nice little floater. And again, the thing that we've stressed with our guys, and I'll go back to the turnovers, making simple plays. At times we get in there, we try to do too much. We try to hit a home run when the easy play is there to be made. And as a group, we have to get better at that. But we've been pleased with Connor. He does a great job moving without the ball. And again, when you show some of the things that Casey was able to do in this offense, Connor certainly can make some of those shots.
You mentioned that 5 spot with Berkey working up the 5 potentially, and then you have Braxton and you have Andrew, the 3 very different types of players. I guess how much does that provide you with versatility, with lineups and different things that you can do on both ends?
Yeah, but Braxton certainly gives us a rim protector that we haven't had here, and he gives us a lob threat at the rim as well. That's what we talked to him a lot about. We are very aggressive in our pick and roll defense, so he has to learn how to play in the pocket. We've been really pleased with how he has performed in that role, but when he gets behind the defense, he's going to be a guy that can throw the ball up to, and a guy that can finish with authority. Andrew has got unbelievable footwork on the block, and against our defense, you don't see a lot of that because we double team the post. We come from the baseline side, so as we continue on with this and start playing against different types of defenses, I think Andrew's a guy that can get us easy baskets on the block. He's very good at the nail as well. He's got good footwork, and you can run some ISO type actions similar to what we did for Derek a couple years ago. And then Berkey, again, his pick and pop, if he is at the 5 and he has a big guarding him, is going to be a weapon that we can use, and also his ability to pass. So 3 very different dynamics, and no doubt about it, Robin, it does give us a lot of versatility at that 5 spot.
Braxton, today the low that we saw, hitting some threes, no one guarding him. I mean, did that surprise you?
Yeah, I think we'll probably run a lot of plays to get him threes, but there's some times, yes, where if he's all by himself out there and he's feeling it, that we may allow him to let a few of those go. But again, the thing I've been really impressed, and Larry Brown is a guy that I played for. He was my first coach in the NBA with the Pacers, and Larry was with Washington last year, and he said he'll surprise you. He's really good in dribble handoffs, and he's good in the pocket. And he's shown a lot of poise. I've been really impressed with what he has done. The game is now, instead of throwing it in the post a lot, it's playing in the pocket. That's how you get those paint touches, and now it's making the right read and either finishing at the basket or spraying it out to a shooter. And I've been really pleased with Braxton and the poise that he has shown in the pocket.
Is there somebody you could that you've coached in the past you compare Braxton to? Like, he almost sort of struck me as like Joakim Noah-ish.
Yeah. He's got. I'd say Robin Lopez is probably a pretty good comparison to him. Plus, they both spent some time in Fresno, and he's just a force. And like Sam, who's a good defender, probably one of the better defenders on our team. He said, "I can't get around a screen that he sets. He is so big." And if he takes the right angle in his dribble handoff or on the ball screen, it's going to make it a very difficult decision on going under or over, and that's a big body to have to get around. And if the big gets engaged, he can get behind the defense and, again, finish with authority. So, yeah, just his size. And, he had a wrist injury a thumb injury this summer where he really didn't do anything for a good 2.5 months. So now getting him back on the floor, continuing to work on getting him in shape. But you can see, he gets more confident every day that he steps on the floor. And a lot of that is because he's starting to get in shape. Still has a ways to go. But, again, I've been really pleased with all, and not just Braxton, but all of our bigs. Andrew Morgan, he's a really good player.
When you built this roster after the season, were there specific things you were looking to improve on?
Well, we wanted to stay old. That was important last year. And we've got 8 players on this roster that will be their 4th year or more in college. And we were the oldest team in the Big Ten last year, and I think that was a key in us having a good year. So we wanted to get experience back in some of the players that we had to replace. And we've got 6 seniors on this team, and then Sam and
Peter Jeffrey and those guys are all.
Yeah, and Jeffrey, I think, makes 7. So we've got 6 guys that are 4th year or more in college. So that was a big part is to continue to try to stay old, and that's what it is right now with the landscape of college basketball. But we're really happy, I think, with the balance of this roster, having some older players, and then you have the younger guys with Janowski, with Freger, that are really coming along. I've been really pleased with Justin Bolus. He's been unbelievable for us out there as well. And, in order in today's age, I think to win and to be consistent, you have to have older players on your roster. So that was a big point for us and for me and my staff this offseason, is to make sure we've got some experience in here to replace some of the guys that we lost. And Rink and Josiah in that as well.
What are skill sets you're looking for?
We like guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot. We like guys that can do multiple things out there on the floor. And again, we needed to add size. We knew with losing Josiah and losing Rink, once we found out about his knee, that we would have to get some size out there in the court. I think we did a good job of that. And not only with the bigs that we talked about with Burke, with Braxton, with Andrew, but then you look at Gavin Griffiths, who's got size, and you got Jawan back, and you got Bryce back. So we've got size in the front line, and again, versatility that we certainly have not had here before.
What have you learned about Gavin's game since getting him on campus?
Yeah, he can really shoot it. He's very sneaky athletic, and there's some clips this summer of him getting behind the defense. He goes up, he has no fear. He goes in and tries to finish above the rim. The thing that he can do best, though, is make shots. And we're trying to get him to be more aggressive and understand, when the right time coming off a screen or coming off a dribble handoff on when to pull it or when to continue and keep the ball moving. But, yeah, he's a really, really talented player. There's a reason he was top 40 in the country coming out of high school, and UConn, and all these schools were after him. So we feel very fortunate to have, again, when you look at Nick, when you look at Braden, when you look at Gavin, he's second-year player and has a really good experience, played in the league, knows what the league's all about, played for a great coach in Steve Peichel, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
It was, pretty special last year, just the team, the run they went on. Besides all the new players, what can fans kind of expect to see from the body of work heading into the first kind of games of the season?
Yeah, I hope what we have is a group that's going to go out there. I think our biggest challenge that we all have in this business is finding a way to battle through adversity. And you still see it. You talk about it whenever we have our culture meetings. We talk about battling through adversity. Every day when we start practice or end practice, we talk about how did we do with adversity after the practice is over. And still, when things don't go well, you still have those guys that dive down. The thing that I liked last week, we had a practice where every group, we have 3 teams right now, they all won games. A lot of days we'll have, like today, our one team dominated the entire practice and those other teams shut down. You can't have that if you want to have a successful team. So, that's our biggest thing. Be the hardest working, most together team and find a way to battle through those tough times.
Mentioned pretty much everybody, but Jawan, I guess what's his role? Has it changed at all with how the new additions fit in and what he did last year?
Yeah, Jawan's one of my favorites. He's one of the favorite guys I've ever coached. He just does everything. He does whatever it takes to win. He's not a guy that goes out there and hunts shots. He just goes out and tries to make winning basketball plays and play winning basketball. One of the most versatile defenders in the country, one of the best offensive rebounders, getting us extra possessions. So he hasn't changed. He's worked very hard on his shot this offseason. He is shooting the ball better right now, so I anticipate his percentage going up this year, but just a guy that does everything for us. Thank you, guys.